After the great storm, Mira stood inside her small food shop. The shelves were broken. The flour was gone. The jars were empty. Outside, the road to the market was covered with mud. The bridge was broken, too. Mira looked at the silent room and whispered, "I have nothing left." An old gardener named Thomas heard her from the doorway. He did not say, "Be happy." He did not say, "It is not so bad." He only placed 2 empty baskets on the table. "This basket is for what you lost," he said, "and this basket is for what remains." Mira looked at the second basket. She was sure it would stay empty, but that empty basket was about to change her life. Before the storm, Mira's shop was small but warm. Every morning, farmers came for soup. Travelers bought bread before crossing the mountain. Children came for sweet apple tea. Mira did not earn much money, but the shop gave her a room, food, and a reason to wake up early. When people said, "Thank you, Mira," she felt useful. That was enough for her. Then the strongest storm in many years came to the village. Rain fell for 3 days. The river rose higher and higher. At night, Mira heard the bridge crack. In the morning, everything had changed. Mira walked through the shop. She touched a broken shelf. "My flour is gone." Thomas placed a small stone in the first basket. She looked at the empty jars. "My beans are gone." Another stone. She opened the drawer. "My money box is gone too." Another stone. Then she looked outside. "The bridge is gone. My customers cannot come." Another stone. Soon the first basket was heavy. Mira pointed to it. "You see, I was right." Thomas nodded. "Yes, you lost many things." He did not try to hide her pain. Then Thomas moved the second basket closer. "Now tell me what remains." Mira looked around. Nothing. Thomas waited. The shop was quiet. At last Mira looked down at her hands. "I still have my hands." Thomas placed a green leaf in the second basket. Mira looked at the stove. "The stove still works." Another leaf. She found an old pot under the table. "My cooking pot is still here." Another leaf. She opened a small cupboard. Inside were 3 onions and a little salt. "I still have these." Another leaf. The basket was no longer empty. Just then, someone knocked on the door. It was Mira's neighbor, Anna. Anna held a small bag of potatoes. "I heard you lost your food," Anna said. "I do not have much, but you may use some of these." Mira looked at the potatoes. They were not enough to reopen her shop. They were not enough to fix the bridge. But they were real. Thomas placed another leaf in the basket. Mira looked through the window. Several villagers were working in the rain. They were trying to repair the bridge. Their clothes were wet. Their hands were cold. But they were still trying. Thomas pointed to the 2 baskets. "The first basket tells the truth," he said. "But it is not the only truth. The second basket is also true." Mira looked at the leaves. "What can I do with 3 onions and a few potatoes?" Thomas smiled. "You cannot open your old shop today." "But can you make 1 small pot of soup?" Mira thought of the people outside. They were cold. They were tired. They had worked all morning. Slowly she stood up. "Yes," she said, "I can make one pot." For the first time since the storm, she moved. Mira cleaned the stove. She washed the old pot. She cut the onions and potatoes. Soon warm steam filled the shop. The smell of soup went out into the rain. Mira carried the pot to the bridge workers. One man shook his head. "I cannot pay you." Mira answered, "You do not need to pay me. This is what I can do today." The workers held the warm bowls in both hands. For the first time in days, Mira heard someone say, "Thank you." Her shop was still broken, but something inside her was no longer still. The next day, Mira made a larger pot. A farmer brought carrots. A baker brought 2 loaves of bread. A child brought clean water. Some people brought wood for the stove. Others repaired Mira's broken shelves. No one had enough alone, but together they had a little more than yesterday. Mira's hopeful thought did not fill the shop by magic. It did something better. It helped her see the first useful step, and that first step gave other people a place to begin. After several weeks, the bridge opened again. Travelers returned to the village. Farmers returned to the market. Mira opened her shop again, but the shop was different now. One shelf held bread from the baker. Another held vegetables from local farms. In the middle of the room stood a large table. Anyone who was hungry could sit there. Above the table were the 2 baskets. The first still held the stones. Mira did not throw them away. "They remind me that pain is real," she said. The second basket held the dry leaves. "And these remind me that loss is never the whole story." Positive thinking does not mean pretending that nothing is wrong. It does not turn stones into bread. It does not repair a bridge by magic. Positive thinking means looking at the truth and asking, "What is still in my hands? What can I do today?" You may not have everything you need, but perhaps you have one useful skill, one kind neighbor, one small idea, or enough strength to take one step. Do not only count what is gone, count what remains. Sometimes a new life begins with what is left behind.